This week, police arrest another suspect in connection with a series of deadly druggings at New York City gay bars.
When there's a bias-based aspect to the crime, that needs to be taken particularly serious.
Plus, a 16-year-old in Brooklyn charged with fatally shooting another teen in broad daylight. And get an exclusive look inside the city's cybersecurity headquarters, keeping us safe in the digital age.
Tech is the cornerstone of almost every process that we have.
Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are the crimes across the 5 boroughs. We begin this week in Jamaica, Queens, where a rookie cop is shot in broad daylight after only 3 months on the job.
Mayor Eric Adams and NYPD Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell started their day by recognizing and honoring the courage of 3 NYPD officers who suffered injuries following a machete attack in Times Square on New Year's Eve. Hours later,
blah, 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 blah.
They were back at a hospital after another one of New York's finest was shot.
He was where our communities tell us they want their officers to be, standing a footpost.
According to cops, it was just after 3:30 when an MTA bus driver on Jamaica Avenue in Queens flagged down 2 police officers. The bus driver said 2 men were arguing on board the bus over a seat. Once the 2 officers approached the bus, one of the men attempted to exit, and that's when the struggle began. After shoving the 2 officers out of the way, the man takes off. Both the rookie cop and his partner catch up with the man on 161st Street, and that's when he fired.
The perpetrator fired 1 shot, striking our officer in the right hip. The second police officer returned fire 2 times.
The suspect then took off into a parking garage where investigators say he dumped a black jacket, an orange sweatshirt he was wearing. He was last seen at 161st and Hillside Avenue in just a white T-shirt and black pants. Back at the scene tonight, the NYPD is still collecting evidence and gathering any information they can to make an arrest. Another New York City police officer shot in the line of duty. The mayor says it's just too many.
That our officers run towards gunshots when others run away. That is what happened today. They place their lives on the line for us.
Next, we visit Brooklyn for an exclusive look inside the city's first line of defense against cyber threats.
What is the importance of the job right now?
I think the biggest thing that we're focused on is making quality of life, making the city better.
Matt Frazier is New York City's Chief Technology Officer.
Tech is the cornerstone of almost every process that we have.
In a modern world, nearly everything is automated, from streetlights to water coming from the tap. Frazier's job is to protect it all from hackers.
There are systems that regulate how the water is cleaned and treated. A cybersecurity event can impact that and can contaminate drinking water.
Fox 5 given exclusive access inside the Joint Security Operations Center in the city, where the NYPD, State Police, Port Authority, and the FBI have teams working, including former President Trump's trip to the city.
In New York, you got to understand that the threat landscape is never calm, right? So we always run at an elevated level. So events like this makes us go on higher alert.
Late last year, several high-profile cyber attacks caused serious disruptions locally. 3 Brooklyn hospitals and the Metropolitan Opera all breached, paralyzing computer systems. And on Long Island, a ransomware attack in Suffolk County crippled government agencies. Employees there forced to resort to old fax machines and paper reports because email systems went down.
There's real-world applications, and sometimes things come out of nowhere.
You just never know when something could become cybersecurity related.
And says Kelly Mohan, Chief Information Security Officer with Cyber Command, as many as 90 billion warnings come in every week.
You have to whittle down into cyber investigations about 50 or so per week.
Something as small as a password error to larger scale incidents like cyber thieves trying to overwhelm a department website.
That requires a sizable amount of automation and really good team here.
And that is why the Adams administration established the first of its kind anywhere in the U.S. Cyber Academy. 21 recruits now, with more in the pipeline, trained and certified to work digital security incidents, a line of work more in demand now than ever.
But we want to make sure that we continue to feed the pipeline. So as we have resources that retire or folks that move out, that we continuously build talent so that we can keep these jobs and these positions filled. Throughout their journey, they may find themselves in different places, but they will all be focused on the mission of keeping New York City safe.
Now we head into Manhattan, where police have made arrests in connection with a series of drugging deaths at gay bars in Hell's Kitchen.
30-year-old Jacob Barroso arraigned Monday. He's charged with murder, robbery, and grand larceny in connection with the death of 25-year-old Julio Ramirez. Later in the day, 34-year-old Robert DeMeo also arraigned in court in connection with what police are calling a larger citywide robbery pattern involving men leaving gay nightclubs. They say the suspects target their victims, drug, and wipe their bank accounts using facial recognition technology on the victims' iPhones.
There's a great deal of relief in the community.
Police say there's been 17 similar incidents in all. Councilmember Eric Botcher represents much of the city's LGBTQ neighborhoods, like Hell's Kitchen and the West Village. He says he wants people to know that anyone who targets their community will be held accountable. Last spring, police say 25-year-old Julio Ramirez left the gay bar The Ritz in Hell's Kitchen with a group of men. They say he was drugged, robbed, and left in the back of a taxi. Then, 1 month later, 33-year-old John Umberger was also fatally drugged and robbed after leaving another gay nightclub just a few blocks away from The Ritz. Umberger was a political consultant from D.C. who was found in the Upper East Side townhouse where he'd been staying. The city medical examiner said both men were killed by a similar deadly cocktail of drugs containing fentanyl.
When there's a bias-based aspect to the crime, that needs to be taken particularly serious. When people believe that a community has been targeted, whether it's the LGBTQ community, the Jewish community, the African American community, those need to be taken particularly seriously.
Police have also asked for the public's help to find another suspect, Jaquan Hamilton, in connection with the homicides. They say he is still at large.
Then in Brooklyn, a 16-year-old is arrested and charged for a broad daylight shooting that left a 17-year-old boy dead in Brownsville.
A boy, 16 years old, has been arrested in connection to a fatal shooting in Brooklyn.
This happened on March 15th in the Brownsville section on Saratoga Avenue and Prospect Place. The 17-year-old boy was shot in the chest and taken to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. That teen has been charged with murder and criminal possession of a weapon.
Back in Manhattan, police arrest and charge 6 people for a violent subway attack and robbery on a Midtown 1 train.
Police are searching for 6 suspects wanted for a violent subway robbery in Midtown. Officials released photos of the suspects in the attack. It happened on a southbound 1 train in the area of 7th Avenue and West 34th Street Sunday night. Investigators say the suspects approached a 39-year-old man and demanded his shoes, cell phone, and wallet while displaying a kitchen knife and a switchblade. Police say the female suspects also demanded a 40-year-old woman's cell phone while punching her several times in the face.
And finally in Queens, 3 suspects are wanted for the fatal shooting of 2 men in Astoria.
Police are searching for suspects accused of shooting and killing 2 men in Queens. The NYPD released these photos of the 3 men. Police say the gunman opened fire Friday night on Steinway Street, that's in Astoria, killing 22-year-old Xavier Roberts and 21-year-old Jaheim Hamilton. Police say the suspects drove off in a red Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-577-TIPS.
And that's this week's Crime in the City.